Monday, June 22nd. Well, the news this morning included some information about the cases that the Supreme Court is considering, and one of the ones that we're waiting to hear from is another restriction on women's right to abortion. And it had me remembering a conversation that I had with a woman a couple of years back who had contacted me in my role as the director of the Center for Creative Conflict Resolution. She was very interested in finding ways that people who disagreed about important issues could have respectful conversations. Oh, I was all into that. Most of our conversation was by email. I think we did talk on the phone once, but at one point she emailed me an example of some folks who were doing some work on training anti-abortion activists in how to talk to pro-abortion folks, as they spoke of it, in a way that was respectful, not argumentative, and much more likely to convince them of the opinion that the anti-abortion folks held. And I thought, well, that's it's a good start. We're moving in the direction of having civil conversations here. But I pointed out to her that the conversation did not include the people actually listening to the perspective of the person whose mind they were trying to change. And that puzzled her a bit. And she said, well, what's your position on abortion? And I told her. And it became clear that this was going to be a problem in our relationship because we were people who had different perspectives. So I thought, well, this is an opportunity to actually practice the thing that we're trying to learn how to do. So I said, well, I shared with you my position on a woman's right to choose. Tell me, what is your position on unwanted children? She never got back to me. Seems that it's really difficult to talk to people who are able to understand is that we can't just take this piece, that this is the piece I want to talk about, and I'm not going to take into account all of this other stuff. Complexity science says we have to take into account all of those relevant variables. That's part of what makes it so complex. It's such a dynamic system. You really can't meaningfully talk about a woman's right to choose or a choice to have an abortion without also talking about unwanted pregnancies and unwanted children. Having those larger conversations proves to be really difficult to do. And frankly, at this point, I'm feeling kind of discouraged. But what we do matters. So we're going to go out there and we're going to be our best selves in the world today. And we're going to be safe. And remember, wear your mask.